What's up, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are kicking off my Shop My Stash series and I'm excited. So I've already gone through my collection and I've pulled out a bunch of products that are tried, they're true, they're things that have been around for a while that we all know and we love, and we're gonna dust them off and we're gonna create a full face of makeup. Now, if you're curious about anything that we use in today's video, I will link and list it all down in the description box, and keep in mind that some of those links may be affiliated links. So if you do choose to shop them, I thank you so much for helping support me and my channel. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and pull my hair out of my face, zoom y'all in just a little bit, and we're gonna play with some makeup. Okay, so I already have on my skincare and my SPF, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with primer. And I went ahead and pulled my Il Makiage Power Redo Anti-Aging Blur and Smooth Wrinkle Filler. So I have used this a couple of times. I haven't used it enough to know exactly how I feel about it, but this is supposed to kind of fill and blur your wrinkles. And if you have not noticed, I have deep forehead wrinkles. So I'm gonna go ahead and put just a little bit of this on my forehead, and I'm going to like smooth and press. Now, I have noticed a difference using this when I've used it before, but I haven't noticed anything like they advertise. If you've seen this on Instagram, they put it on like one half of the forehead and like everything instantly vanishes. And of course, I'm a sucker and bought it in the middle of the night thinking it was gonna do that, and then realized I'm a sucker and that's not what it's gonna do. But it does definitely blur my forehead and kind of fill in those lines just a little bit. I'm gonna take what's left and kind of go right here around my nose. I don't have a lot of pores. They're just a little bit on the smaller side. Now, if you're new here, I wanted to let you know that I am 38 years old. I do live in a very hot, humid climate. I'm down here in Houston, Texas, and I have like normal, dry leaning skin. It does get a little bit more oily in the summer, at least it used to. My skin is changing. It's changing very rapidly, so I'm kind of figuring it out. We're getting to know each other, but I also prefer a light to medium coverage foundation. So this is what we're looking like. My forehead does feel very smooth, very silky, very soft. It is a silicone based primer, but we're gonna go ahead and prime the rest of my face, and we're gonna go in with the MAC Strobe Cream. So this is the shade Pink Light, and I love this. This has been around forever. I used to use this back in high school and I didn't know why I used it. The girl at the MAC counter sold it to me and I was like, oh yeah, I wanna be like the MAC girl. But I love this. It just has a beautiful glow. It is one of those that you can put on under foundation. You can mix it with your foundation. You can use it as a highlighter. It's a multi-use product and I do really enjoy it. This is probably, I don't even know how many I've been through at this point, but it's one that I always have and I enjoy. But look at the glow that it leaves on the skin. It's more of a subtle glow, which is what I really like. So don't let the words strobe kind of deflect you from that, because it doesn't have as much of a glow as even like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, or even the e.l.f., I can't remember what it's all called, but it doesn't have that much of a glow. It just has a very subtle lit from within glow. This is one of those products that you can wear alone if you just want to have like a nice hydrated look to the skin. And I used it even whenever I had oily skin, so it doesn't accentuate that. It doesn't cause any problems. At least it didn't for me. I was more on the combo side versus like the full-on oily side, but it's a great one and I love it. But let's move on to foundation. So for foundation, I went ahead and pulled this one from Yensa. This is the Super Serum Silk Foundation. I have the shade, where is it? Light Neutral. I actually got this for free in a, I think it was an Ipsy Boxy Charm, or maybe it was just an Ipsy box back then. But I did get it for free in that, and I have enjoyed it, as you can tell, but it's been a while since I've used it. I do remember this being a little bit more on like the full coverage, and it's like a true neutral shade, so it actually matches my skin really well. But It is beautiful and I do enjoy it. It's not one that I think I would repurchase if I ran out, but it's also not one that I'm looking to get rid of either. But look at how pretty that is. And it just blends with the skin perfectly. If you are a true neutral undertone, this is going to be a perfect shade match for you. Now, I do have more cool leaning undertones, but I can get away with a neutral shade as well. All right, so this is what the complexion is looking like. It looks very flawless, very beautiful. This is a full coverage foundation, but it's very lightweight. It kind of melts in with the skin. I don't feel like it's sitting on top of my skin. As far as full coverage foundations go, this is one that I do really enjoy, but I just don't go for them very often. I'm kind of like moved past that a little bit. I don't think that they are quite as flattering on my skin, but this one is beautiful. So when it does come to full coverage foundations, this is one that I really do enjoy. But let's go ahead and move on to concealer. So I went ahead and pulled my Lancome Teint Idole concealer. This is in the shade 095. I love this concealer. This is a favorite. I don't use it very often because if you watched my complexion video that went up yesterday, my complexion collection, this is a little bit on the yellowy side. When I bought it, I think it was the only one that they had left and I really wanted to try it. But I do have a way that I can get away with this a little bit more. It's really not bad, like under my eyes. It kind of blends a little bit, but it's not my perfect shade match. But it is a beautiful, like, medium to full coverage concealer. It's not completely full. You can sheer it out. You can build it up to be full, but it just looks so beautiful under the eye. It's hydrating. It's creamy. I really enjoy it. And that's what that looks like. I love it. All right, I am feeling flawless. Let's add some color back into this face because I'm feeling very flat as well. So I went ahead and pulled my NARS Laguna bronzing cream. This is in Laguna 01. It's the lightest one that they have, and this is one of my favorites. I love this one. I haven't used it in a while, so I'm excited to bust it out and use it. So I'm just gonna go in with a brush and I just kind of dip into the product, and what I like to do is just go right above the hollows of my cheeks, getting a lot of that product off. And I just stipple and kind of go in a circular motion. I'm not contouring, I am bronzing up my skin. But this is so beautiful. It's creamy, it blends in so nicely. It just kind of melts with the rest of your makeup. And the shade for me is perfection. This is truly one of those that if I had to choose like one bronzer to keep in my collection, it's between this one and another one, the Makeup by Mario, what is it, the skin enhancing or sculpting, whatever it's called. That one's beautiful as well, but this one has just a little bit more pigmentation to it. And I love this. I never got on board of the NARS Laguna train back when it was just like the one powder bronzer. It was too dark for me. It was too orange. I'm very fair and I have to be careful. Like, I really do. I was never a big bronzer girly, but now that bronzers are coming out in different undertones and they're coming out in different shades, they're finally recognizing that bronzer is not a one size fits all. I'm here for it. I love it. I have an obsession with bronzers, actually. I have an obsession with makeup, but I love bronzers. Okay, so this is what our complexion's looking like. Everything is meshing well. I'm loving it. Let's add some blush. So I went ahead and pulled out one of the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring, what are these, blush balms or something like that. I pulled out Rosé and Brunch. It's the only one that I have, and I'm not the biggest fan of cream blushes, although I'm coming around to them. I've tried out some recently that I do really enjoy. I don't know who I am, but this one is beautiful. First of all, it's very pigmented, it's very balmy, it goes on beautifully, but I love that we have a bigger pan so I can actually dip my brush in here and I don't have to go in with my finger or like dig some out with another tool. I appreciate that, but these are pigmented, so just like the tiniest tap And then again, I just kind of stipple in circular motions. This is how I do all of my cream products. I don't swipe. I don't do anything like that. I just very lightly tap and blend. My brush is always moving, but it's beautiful. If you go in very light-handed, you can build this up really nicely because it can get out of control really quick. All right, let's go ahead and set this face. Now, I know I have more like normal to dry leaning skin, but I don't like the way that my skin feels when it's not set. I'm a creature of habit. I like the way it feels. To me, it's the normal thing to do. But I'm gonna go ahead and set my under eyes first, and I'm gonna go in with my Fenty Pro Filter powder, and this is in the shade Lavender, and this is just, it's a beautiful lavender shade. It's a brightening powder. It looks beautiful. It's very finely milled. I will warn you, it does have a fragrance. So if that's something that you don't like, I would back away from that. But spoiler alert, I don't know if you've noticed, if you follow Huda Beauty over on Instagram or here on YouTube, but she is coming out with a fragrance-free version of her Easy Bake powder. After all this time, she's finally coming out with a fragrance-free version, and I know people are excited. The fragrance doesn't bother me. I actually really enjoy it, but I know there's a lot of people out there who don't like fragrance in their products, can't handle it. So it's coming. Get ready. That will be launching very soon. But I'm just going to go ahead and set my under eyes with this powder. Now it is brightening, but what I like to do is I like to go in with just a clean brush and kind of sweep it, blend it. See the difference that makes? It's still brighter. It kind of got rid of that little bit of a yellow cast that I had. It wasn't much, but it was a little bit, and it just blended in that powder with the rest of my skin. Now I'm going to also use this for the rest of my face. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with just a big fluffy powder brush. I dip it and then I kind of swirl it around in the lid, making a total mess, as you can tell. We're going to kind of flick that off, and I kind of pat it on a little bit, and then I go back and buff. This is a beautiful powder, and I feel like it's one that's not talked about enough, but it's also, I don't know, it's just one that it's not super mattifying. I'm sure you could mattify with this, but it's just a really beautiful powder that's just going to give your face a filter-like effect. It's going to blur the skin, set the makeup. It's not heavy, and I really, really enjoy this one. I really do. I'm kind of picky when it comes to my powders, especially if they're on the heavier side. I feel like they can really make or break your look. I've had some powders that have definitely destroyed an entire makeup look. Like, I was really loving it, and then the minute I put that on, it was like, oh, that was probably a bad choice. All right, we are set. We're looking beautiful. I had forgotten how much I love that powder. I really do. I adore it. But let's go ahead and add on some more powder products. So I always like to go in with my cream products, set everything, and then kind of reiterate everything with powder bronzer, powder blush, all of that. It kind of gives me an extra layer, and I've noticed that my color products last a lot longer. So I went ahead and pulled my House Labs bronzer. This is the Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer. I have the shade Light 2, and this one is absolutely beautiful. This is a favorite. The texture in here is interesting. It's like, it's a powder, but when you touch it, it almost feels like a cream. But this is one that I really love, really enjoy, and I'm excited to pull this one back out. Again, it has like my perfect undertone. And I mean, this has been used so much, like the H is gone in here. You can't even see it anymore. For the longest time, I went in real hard with this bronzer. Okay, so for blush, we're gonna go in with one of the Pat McGrath Divine blushes. This is in Divine Rose. This is a mini. I picked it up around the holidays. This is what it looks like, so I think it's gonna go beautiful with the Janessa Myrick shade that we already have on underneath this. And I'm just gonna go in with a Singe blush brush, pick this up and blend her on to my cheek. These are beautiful. I really do love this. This was the first time I had ever gotten like a full taste of a Pat McGrath blush. I needed to know, and when she came out with minis, I was excited because I love a mini for one, but I will never go through a full-size blush. Like I have before, but now that I have more products in my collection, I'll never go through it. I might make a dent, but I'll never go through it. So I love minis. And that is just a beautiful blush. It just goes on the skin so beautifully. It is a matte blush, so it doesn't have like a sheen to it, but I don't mind. I could care less if it's matte or if it has a sheen. I don't like anything that's like over the top too shimmery. I don't know. For me, I think it doesn't look good on my skin, but I always go in and add some highlighter anyway, so I end up with a glowy cheek. But beautiful. I love it. I'm here for it. Let's throw on some highlighter, and for this one I pulled out the Becca highlighter in Champagne Pop. Now this is not the original Becca. I did use up a mini of that one, so I did buy another one whenever Smashbox acquired them, and this is just a beautiful classic. Like this was a viral product for the longest time. This is a cult classic. Like everybody adores this. So we're gonna pop some of this on the cheeks. And I feel like this shade is very flattering for most people. I don't know how it works on deeper skin tones. If you have a deeper skin tone, let me know what you think of some of these products. Like, you know, when you have a light skin tone, you tend to kind of tunnel vision and pay attention to what's gonna work for your skin tone. And I don't always know what works well for deeper skin tones. I'm learning. I'm a work in progress. But I love that. It's still so beautiful. It's not nearly as like bam in your face as we thought it was when it first came out, because we have different highlighters now that they are reflective, they are shiny, they're beautiful, and I love them. But this one is still a favorite and it's beautiful. Okay, let's continue on because we need to do some brows, we need to do some eyes, I need to get something on my lips as well. So let me go ahead and just pop something on my lips real quick because they're feeling dry. So I'm just gonna go in with my Auric Plush Ritual lip treatment in the shade Bare. It has a little applicator, but I just dip my finger in there. Let's do some brows. So I do have my brows tattooed on. I've had them for a while because I am a victim of the 90s brow. Yes, mine never grew back. I struggled for the longest time, but I do still like to kind of go over them with either like a pencil or sometimes just a tinted brow gel because the makeup gets in there and it kind of fades them out a little bit. So I went ahead and pulled my One Size Brow Kiki. This is in the shade Dark Brown. I don't know if this is going to be the right shade for me anymore, but this was the brow pencil that I used all the time before I had my brows done. I would go in and just kind of build a brow, and I really do enjoy it. I've obviously found other things I love just as much, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add in just a little bit of dimension right here in the front with just some very light brush hair strokes. And then I kind of just follow and go in wherever it's a little bit lighter from putting foundation, powder, all that good stuff. See what a difference that makes? Like this is the one without anything. This is the one that I just filled in, and it just brings the brow back to life. It just kind of gives it a little bit more color. Now mine are also a little bit faded, especially right here in the front. It's probably time to get them redone, but I'm not quite there yet. All right, so now that my brows are filled in, we're gonna throw on a little bit of brow gel. So I went ahead and pulled my ABH Clear Brow Gel. It's not my favorite, it gets the job done, but I prefer something with a little bit more hold. While I don't have a lot of eyebrows, the few hairs that I have left can get a little squirrely and out of control. And I usually prefer a more, like tinted brow gel, but I really want to try the one from Patrick Ta. What is it? The Brow Lamination Gel. I've heard that one's really nice, and I'm debating picking it up during the Sephora sale that starts tomorrow, because I'm always looking for new things. I like to try out new products, test new products, but this is what we're looking like. Our complexion is done, our brows are done. It's time to do some eyes. So we're gonna play with the Melt X Bailey Sarian Fatally Yours eyeshadow palette. Now this one was actually requested in the comment section of my eyeshadow palette collection video, so I thought this would be the first one that we play with. Pull her out, create a look. Now this is an all matte eyeshadow palette. It came out the end of last year, so it's not a brand new palette, but it's also not one of the oldest ones in my collection, but it's beautiful. I love the color story in here, and I really do enjoy an all matte eyeshadow palette because I do have some all shimmer palettes. So we're gonna play with this. I also pulled out some Cleona singles that I have in my collection as well, and we're gonna create a look. But before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyes with my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly, just because it's a favorite. It's one that I love, that I've had forever, and I don't have a whole lot of eyeshadow primers in my collection, and I want to use one that I know is going to work. But this is a favorite. I do have really oily eyelids, which is strange. It's the only thing on my face that's oily, and this one works the best. This one and the Natasha Denona are like my two eyeshadow primers that are their favorites. They're absolute favorites. Okay, let's create a look. I'm excited. So what do we want to play with? I kind of want to play with this shade right here. I think it's beautiful, but I don't know if I want to start there. I think we might start down here. Yeah, we're gonna start here. We're gonna go in with the shade Cyanide, and we're gonna pop this into my crease. So I'm gonna go in with a Game Beauty EO1 brush, pick up that shade Cyanide. Actually, before we do this, I'm gonna scooch it in just a little bit for the eyes. Okay, now we're close and personal. Let's try this again. So I'm gonna start with the Cyanide shade, and I'm gonna pop this into my crease. But I'm going to kind of keep it on the outer portion and fluff it very lightly because these are pigmented and I don't want this shade to like take over. But this is beautiful. I was excited when this came out. I wasn't surprised. It was more of like, it's about time. Like, there's no better brand for Bailey Sarian to collab with. If you don't know who Bailey Sarian is, which I can't imagine that you don't, but if you don't know who she is a content creator here on YouTube, and she does her makeup while she tells you like a murder mystery or like a dark history of something. It's a good one. It sucked me in. I used to listen to it a lot when I had a little bit of a commute to work, back when I worked in a hair salon that was like across town and I had a good 45 to a 1 hour drive. I used to listen to her videos, and she does murder, mystery, and makeup Mondays. That's a beautiful shade. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on the other eye, and then we'll move on. All right, let's go ahead and deepen up the outer corner. I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not even gonna try, but it's the second to darkest shade in the palette, and we're gonna deepen up this outer corner. So I'm gonna go in with a Game Beauty EO7. We're gonna pick this up and just pop this into the outer corner. This palette definitely gives like dark vibes, but again, it's 100% a Bailey Sarian palette. I'm gonna take that same shade and just kind of bring it along my lower lash line. I'm not gonna go all the way across. I'm just gonna keep it even with the lid, but just to give a little bit of depth out here in the outer corner. All right, we're gonna add a pop of color. So we're gonna go in with this shade right here, which is called Kerosene, and we're gonna pop this along the rest of my bottom lower lash line. My bottom lower lash line. Hello, it would be my lower lash line. we're gonna pop this along my lower lash line. This is a Sigma E42 brush. I'm gonna pick it up and we're gonna go right down here. Now this shade is darker than it looks. It looks like it's gonna be really light, but there's not really any light shades in this palette. But that does look really pretty. I love that little pop of color that it adds down here. Just a little bit of brightness. A little something, something. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a clean, fluffy brush and just fluff right along that shade, taking away any harsh line that I may have gotten. Okay, let's pop on some shimmer. So first I'm gonna go ahead and pop on my Sugar Drizzle eyeshadow primer. Now you can use this all over your lids, but this has kind of a tackier base, so I like to use this as a glitter primer. I do really enjoy it. It's pretty affordable too. It is from an indie brand, but it just doesn't have quite the same tack that the NYX glitter primer has, but this is a good one. I do enjoy it. So if you're, you know, ever ordering from Sugar Drizzle and you need a good eyeshadow primer, this is one that will work. I just can't use this with every single shimmer shade. Like certain ones, especially the Adept shimmers, they will crease if I use this one. So I just kind of stick to what I know works universally. But eyes are primed, let's throw on a shimmer. So I went ahead and pulled out my Clionad's shimmers. Now this was a like Halloween bundle that came out this past Halloween, and these are what the shades look like. These are gorgeous. This one in the middle is my favorite. It's called Ferric, and I'm like, do I want to play with that one, or do we want to do something else? Kind of, that one's beautiful. Let me show you my favorite one, Ferric. Like, oof, so pretty. But I think I want to do more of a green on my lid and kind of tie in the outer corner. Let's swatch this one as well. It's a deeper green. So I'm kind of thinking we're gonna go in with this one down here. I will put in the description box the name of the shade. I have to pop it out and I will do that, but I'm gonna pick that up with my finger and put that all over my lid. So gorgeous. Now, I mean, you could definitely do an all matte look with that palette. You could have thrown on one of the other matte shades on your lid, but I like shimmer, I like sparkle, and this is what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to play with. I'm really loving the way this is turning out. I think it looks beautiful. I think that shimmer shade was a good choice on the lid, but I want to throw in something in my inner corner. So I want to go in with this one up here. This one is like an iridescent, but it's got just a small green flip to it. I think it's going to look beautiful on the inner corner. So for this, I'm going to pick up this brush. This is a Game Beauty EO4. I'm going to pick this up on my brush, spray it with some MAC Fix Plus, and we're going to pop this into my inner corner. Beautiful. So reflective, so pretty. It picks up those greens absolutely beautifully. Okay. Do the same thing on the other eye. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pop on my liner and mascara because it's liner and mascara. I don't think anybody's interested in watching me do that. And then I will come back, show you the completed look, and we'll move on. Alright, so this is the completed eye look and I love it. I love the way this came out. I think the shimmer shade that I chose looks beautiful with this palette. I think it really went perfectly. But I do really enjoy this palette. I like the Melt formula. I think they have a really good matte formula. Their shimmers aren't always the best, but their mattes are fantastic, and this is an all matte palette, so it's perfect. And then the Clionad's Stained Glass Collection shadows. These are beautiful. They are absolutely stunning, well worth it. They're shifty, they're beautiful. I love these, and I think that this one looks beautiful on the lid. But let me show you what I used to finish off this look. So for my waterline, I went in with one of my Give eyeliners in the shade Greener Pastures. And then to line my lid, I went in with my Urban Decay 24/7 Inks liner in the shade 0. And then for mascara, my Lancome Lash Idole Waterproof Mascara. Now, this is not the most lengthening and the most volumizing mascara in the world, but for me, it's the best waterproof mascara that I have found. And I have really watery eyes to begin with. It's allergy season. It is like full blown outside, and I'm not in the mood to clean mascara off my cheeks. So that's what we went in with. I like the way that it looks. I'm very happy. So I went ahead and pulled 2 of the shades that came out with her collection. I pulled out the shade Hemlock, which is this one right here. And then I also pulled out, I think it's called Galerina. These are really hard to read, but it's like a really pretty soft baby pink. I thought maybe we could kind of throw this in the middle, lighten it up a little bit. And then for a liner, I'm gonna go in with the Unearthly lip liner in the shade Bad Blood. So we're gonna start by lining these lips, and then we're gonna throw on a lip liner or a lipstick. Now, if you have not tried the Unearthly lip liners, these are so good. They're so creamy. They're so pigmented. They're like, I think $6 a piece. I could be wrong. Oh, that pricing could be wrong, but they are very affordable. They come in a lot of shades. They're my favorites. I really love these. All right, lip liners on. Let's go in with the shade Hemlock. Melt does not have my favorite lip formula. They are a little bit on the drier side. You kind of have to warm them up a little bit, and they can kind of tug and pull a little bit. Like, they don't look the most flattering on the lip, but once they kind of sit for a little bit, adapt to your natural heat of your body, they kind of melt in and they look better. But not my favorite, but I do enjoy these colors. So that is the shade Hemlock. Let's throw a little bit of this shade on top of it. This one's called Galerina, and I'm just gonna pick this up with my finger, just like this, and I'm just gonna pat it in the middle. And rub my lips together. It gives just a little bit of dimension, not a whole lot. You can do this better with liquid lipsticks. I didn't pick up her liquid lipstick set because I'm not a huge liquid lipstick girly. Alright, so I just went ahead and set my face, locked this makeup in place. I went in with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Setting Mist. This isn't a favorite of mine. It is nice. It does smell really good. It smells very coconutty and tropically. It doesn't hold my makeup in place like all day. It's not one of those workhorse setting sprays that I would turn to if I need my makeup to last all night, but it does kind of mesh everything together, takes away a little bit of that powdery look on my face, brings everything together, and it does help hold it. It's not like a workhorse setting spray, but this is what we are looking like. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom y'all out a little bit and we're gonna chat. Alright, so that is going to complete this video. We successfully did a Shop My Stash and I love it. I had forgotten how much I love some of these products. Like, I knew that I liked them, but I had forgotten how much I truly did love them. And that's the whole point of this. It's to go through my collection, dig out some things, find some products that I really love, and kind of give you a little bit of inspiration to do the same. But let me know all of your thoughts down below. Are any of these your favorite products? What are your like absolute favorite products? What are some products that you have in your collection that you've forgotten about and that you need to pull back out? I want to have that conversation down below. Let's light up that comment section. And as always, I want to thank you for spending your time with me and watching my video. It means so, so much to me. And if you did enjoy this video, please make sure that you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every week, most days if not every day, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.